Hey folks, it's Dr. Sean Baker here, and I'm going to let you guys in on a little bit of information I think is incredibly important if you want to start a carnivore diet. Now, who am I? I am the guy that wrote the book, The Carnivore Diet. I've been doing this for approximately the last 8 years. I've dealt with thousands upon thousands of people that have done this diet. I have a company that specifically takes care of people that use these diets with medical doctors. And so I have quite a bit of insight into this. And so let me share some thoughts. Now, first of all, let's define what a carnivore diet is. So first of all, a carnivore diet does not include fruit. It does not include vegetables. It does not include honey or anything like that. It is strictly an animal, product diet for the most part, including any kind of meat you want. Most people will heavily lean on ruminant meat like beef, lamb, and so on and so forth. Maybe some game meat like elk and bison and deer and stuff like that. But the other things, eggs are part of the diet. Seafood is part of the diet. Dairy can be part of the diet for people that tolerate it, although I would proceed sometimes with caution with that. Some people will use some spices. I know it's not an animal product, but yeah, that's the reality. Some people use some spices on their food to help them with the transition. Some people prefer it. Coffee and tea, again, not animal products, but technically it's fine for now, right? Let's talk about this beginning here. Now, how long should you do the diet for? I would recommend you at least give it 3 months. 3 months seems to be the inflection point where a lot of people see benefit. And I've got data on 12,000 people doing this diet that suggests that 3 months is sort of the minimum you're going to need to do to potentially see a change. Why you're doing it, particularly if you're trying to treat some sort of health condition, this makes sense. Now, the other thing that's an important question I always get is, how much should I eat? Well, I will tell you, I could go through specifics. I mean, most people will consume, roughly, 50 to 90% of their calories will come from fat. The rest will be made up largely of protein. Carbs obviously will be very minimal. Maybe dairy products might bump that up slightly. But really, this is the concept I want you guys to understand. At the beginning, and again, this may change later, but at the beginning, you got to eat enough so that you are not under eating, and so you're not having massive cravings. So you want to eat enough. I tell people, eat enough meat, eggs, and so on and so forth, so you don't want that cupcake or that pizza or whatever it might be, whatever those problem foods, because let's face it, most people are dealing with some issue with processed garbage, and they have a hard time stopping. They always keep going back to that stuff because it's addictive, it's cheap, it's ubiquitous, it's marketed to. Quite honestly, it's kind of evil in many ways. It's not even a food, it's really a recreational drug. And so you have to eat enough. You've got to eat. That might mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pounds of meat a day. It depends. You may or may not gain weight with that strategy, but I'm telling you in the beginning, it's important to get yourself unaddicted to that other garbage. You can change it later, all right? This is just for the beginning, okay? Now let's talk about another thing is fluid. You will go through a phase where you may become relatively dehydrated. Some people advocate for adding salt, adding electrolytes. I think that's fine. That may change later on down the road. If you're very athletic and sweat a lot, you maybe need to continue with the added salts and electrolytes. Some people do fine without them, though. Meat has salt in it, and so it's something that you just have to play with and see how you do. If you're dehydrated, you might have headaches. You might feel like your heart is racing, your blood pressure may get low. You can just feel thirsty. I mean, these are clear signs of dehydration. So make sure you might maintain that or you monitor that. The other thing is, let's talk about your gut. Your gut's going to change. You're going to have less. You're going to poop less. You just stop eating fiber, you're just going to poop less, right? Does not necessarily mean you're constipated, right? It just means there's less to waste. Now, some people do actually develop constipation. According to the Harvard study, around 3 to 4% of the people will struggle with that. That's probably in line with the general population anyway. And some of the things that might contribute to that are fluid, electrolytes, activity levels, overconsumption of products like cheese. If you eat a lot of dairy, you eat a lot of cheese. Cheese for some people seems to be particularly constipating for various reasons. Sometimes not getting enough fat also in the diet can be a reason for that. Now, the other end of the spectrum is diarrhea. I think around 20-25% of the people will experience some level of loose stools, diarrhea early on. Sometimes that's attributed to just fat malabsorption for various reasons. Maybe you're consuming too much rendered fat. Perhaps maybe your bile production can't keep up with the fat you're consuming. A lot of times the solution to that is just to break the meals up into smaller sizes and have more of them rather than less, because most people on the carnivore diet will eat about twice a day over the long haul. Now, some people might need to do smaller amounts if you have reduced stomach capacity. Let's say you've had a gastric sleeve or something like that, you're gonna have to eat less, right? And you already know that. So you're gonna have to eat lots of small meals to make up for that. Again, electrolytes can play a role. too much salt, not enough salt. Again, you could have GI issues. Sometimes it's just a general transition. Your gut getting used to not having fiber, which holds a lot of that water in there. So now you've got this pure liquid coming out of your small intestine, because meat, remember, is completely liquefied. There is no solid stuff that leaves your small intestine when you're on a meat-based diet. If you're eating a bunch of vegetables, you got all that solid stuff, which then gets fermented and produces gas, and you have these large, voluminous bowel movements, which, I guess some people like. All right. I think this is probably one of the most important aspects here, is get some support, guys. This is a lot of people won't support you. A lot of physicians won't support you. There are lots of online communities. I have one at carnivore.diet. And then also importantly, if you are someone that is, trying to work with a disease and you're sick, you've got diabetes or an autoimmune disease or something like that, it makes sense to have a physician in your corner to help you through this, to help you taper off the medications and so on and so forth. And we have Rivero, our company, Rivero.com, set up for that. So you can get on our waiting list. We'll bring you in there and we'll help you do that with with physician supervision, which in many cases is incredibly important. Anyway, I hope you guys find this general information helpful. There's some more nuance down the road later on, but this is how you get started. Let me know what you guys think. I wish you luck, and I really, hopefully, like I said, stick it out for 3 months. Start how I suggest, and I think you'll find you'll do pretty well. All right, and enjoy it. Make some fun, have some fun, put some variety in there. Just have fun with that, guys. 'Cause that's important, because you will never, ever, ever succeed on a diet when you don't like the food or you're hungry all the time. So keep those two things in mind. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.